Happy Sunday, Reject Nation. We're going to talk about movie news because we know there's about 5 people who like watching these videos. Why not satisfy them? Before doing that, I wanted to say thank you to Screen Junkies for inviting me on to Movie Fights. I hadn't been on in about 2.5 years, and when I last went on, I didn't do a good job. I had good choices, terrible arguments. I didn't know really the approach on how to take down other people's choices and whatnot. And apparently, I don't want to give anything away, but according to Dan Murrell, I might have made a little bit of Movie Fights history on this last match we went on. So
he's the fact-checking guy. He would know.
Go check out the latest Movie Fights episode. What should Star Wars do after I forget the title of it. It's the latest Movie Fights episode. I had a great time on there. Josh McCouga, Hal Rudnick, Yale, I forget her last name. But we really appreciate if you guys to go check it out because I put a lot of work into that. Anyway, let's move on to some movie news of the week. Whee! So let's get the comic book ones out of the way first because they're actually all pretty much comic book ones except for the last one I just threw in here. Penguin has been rumored to play the villain in the next Batman movie. Ooh. Now, the 2 stories go like this. Oswald Cobblepot will either play the villain in the Batman movie that Matt Reeves is supposedly doing. Is he? It's been a long time. Heard no updates on this. No, I kind of forgot about this one. And there's also the Birds of Prey movie, which should have Harley Quinn in there as well. Rumored Batgirl, rumored Catwoman. I would prefer the Penguin to be in the Batman movie if I'm going to make a choice here. Because he is a criminal mastermind, this guy. And I actually rewatched Batman Returns a week or 2 ago. And I didn't like that movie growing up. But rewatching it now, I was like, I kind of love this movie. And I think Danny DeVito's performance of Penguin is pretty fantastic stuff. I have been doing a TV show watch-alongs on our Patreon for Gotham, and I love the young portrayal of Penguin in that show. And I think that if you kind of can any of those, Penguin supernatural elements that were in Batman Returns and you stick to criminal mastermind, I think that would be a great choice for Batman to go up against Penguin in that scenario. We haven't gotten a great live-action version of that yet where it's Batman and Penguin going toe-to-toe, and it wouldn't be some supernatural villain he's going up against. It could be a grounded Matt Reeves venture, and Batman taking on a lot of, Penguin goons and, henchmen and stuff, so you still get some cool action scenes in there. Birds of Prey, I especially think if you have Catwoman, like, if you throw in Birds of Prey, which already has all these Batman characters, and then you have Penguin, one of Batman's main villains in there, and you don't have Batman in it, I would kind of get annoyed by that.
It's going to be a weird situation. I feel like there's all this right now with separating the villains from the heroes and kind of remixing things in odd places. And for me, I guess what I would hope for from this Batman movie that I also forgot about is I would love to see the criminal mastermind element played up and then met with Batman as the detective. Like, I want to see the detective and martial arts Batman go up with the criminal mastermind Penguin.
Because while Batman Returns had elements of that, in terms of like the last time we saw Penguin on the big screen, it was still like weird. He lived in the sewer. He had a bunch of penguin followers. It's like it's
a different time.
It's
now.
Cool. Like, it worked for that movie, but I think for a realistic approach, that would be cool. And Josh Gad has been like kind of putting himself out there, wanting to play the Penguin, and I think he could actually do a pretty good job at that.
And that would be fun to see him take on a bit of a weightier role too. Bring his comedic chops and his craziness, but also the acting he can bring to that.
Definitely. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Which one would you want Penguin to be in? Batman or Birds of Prey?
Hands down, everyone says Birds of Prey.
I guess the biggest story this week is Blumhouse's Spawn movie. Blumhouse taking on Spawn. Just hearing that, I'm like, cool. I'll watch that. Sure. Especially because Blumhouse has a reputation. I've heard so many directors say that Blumhouse just lets them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's the most common thread I've heard with all the directors, is they don't interfere. The only thing that they might have a discussion with Jason Blum about is we need a little more money. Other than that, it's not really an argument of creative differences. And Todd McFarlane, the guy who created Spawn, is actually directing and writing this next Spawn movie, which gets me excited because how often do you get to see that? Like, not since like Frank Miller working on Sin City have we gotten something as cool as that.
Yeah, and as worrisome as that can be for some people, I think that is a really cool thing for Spawn and just for the landscape of superhero comic book movies in general, to go, to the Blumhouse kind of mode of the spectrum, having something that's probably a little more micro budget, but that will have a totally different palette from all the other ones.
Yeah, and I think with Jamie Foxx on as Spawn, that was like cool news to me. I wasn't exactly jacked about that. What got me excited was when Todd McFarlane released a statement saying why he wanted Jamie Foxx for it. I think we have a quote here, actually. Jamie came to my office 5 years ago and he had an idea about Spawn and we talked about it. I never forgot him. When I got done and my agents and everybody was talking about what actor, I said, I'm going to Jamie first, and until he says no, I don't want to think about anyone else because I've never had anyone else on my head. Luckily, he hadn't forgotten either.
That's cool.
Like, for the creator of Spawn to have a conversation with an actor who seemed passionate about an idea for Spawn, and for 5 years to hold on to just this idea, and for Jamie Foxx to be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, for the creator to be excited about what this actor had to offer, the conception of how this came to be with creator and actor coming together for this is what gets me most excited about it. Because, Jamie Foxx deserves a shot at having a cool comic book character. We all know about the whole Electro deal that went down and how that didn't go well. Not really his fault, I think.
A cool comic book character.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Evans got to have his shot with Captain America after Fantastic Four.
And Scott Pilgrim.
Michael B. Jordan after Fantastic Four. Got to have Killmonger. Ryan Reynolds with his countless comic book movies. Got to have Deadpool now. Why not give Jamie Foxx this shot? It doesn't just seem like some cool casting. It seemed like this was the vision I had, and I wanted Jamie Foxx specifically.
Yeah, and that enthusiasm is what makes me excited about this project overall.
Yes.
It's just the idea that, they got the creator to helm this, and the idea that Jamie Foxx and him really want to work together on this. I feel like that passion is going to create something magical around this movie. And, I like Michael J. White, but to see Jamie Foxx take on the role, with his chops and whatnot, I'm excited to see what he does both out of the makeup and in it,
All right, so next story here is TV news. The last time I saw The Walking Dead was Season 8, Episode 1, when it had an alright opener, but it really hit me that this show is going to pull some of the same bullshit. Honestly, that was just what I realized when I was watching it. I just gave up.
Yeah, I made my way up to like Season 6. I'm partway through there, and just hearing about the decisive turn the show took, I don't know if I'll continue now.
I've never actually seen a show and had that breaking point where I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to watch this anymore.
Yeah, right? It's weird. And I used to love this show so much.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be all about it.
And then now if there was any more reason to not continue the show, the only character that, I like Daryl, sure, and I like Denai Guerrero as Michonne, sure.
I like Carol.
But there's only one character I love. Yeah. There's
totally.
only one actor who I'm like, man, this show just would not work without him.
Even when the show doesn't work, I love watching you.
Andrew Lincoln planning on exiting after season 9, which it's like, I don't blame the guy. The show's dipping. He arguably gets the most emotionally challenging stuff to do on this show. It's also a very physically demanding show. Yeah. 9 seasons is about, 10 years?
Almost, yeah.
That's a lot. And for a guy who has this much talent, I want to see him do other work. Yeah. I like that his actual speaking voice isn't the Southern accent, that he's actually British.
Coral.
That alone means this guy's definitely got range. Just knowing that fact, that he's a British guy and he can do an amazing Southern accent where you think that's his actual speaking voice.
If you only saw The Walking Dead and you see him in an interview, you're like, what?
Yeah. If you see him in other works, because the Rick Grimes look is very specific now. It's like the longer hair, the beard. That's the look that we associated way more with as opposed to how he looked in the first couple seasons. Yeah. I feel like this guy can transition into movies now or some other works of television if he just changes his look up. Doesn't do that weird Keanu Reeves thing where he looks like John Wick and everything he does. Yeah.
John Wick's getting married.
It's distracting. Yeah. Back to The Walking Dead. I've heard they're trying to get Norman Reedus to really stick around. They're offering to pay him $20 million. And Norman Reedus' work as an actor, he's a really good actor. He's a little bit more into a corner, I think, of the kind of roles he can do. When it comes to range for Norman Reedus, you prefer to see him in something like a Daryl, honestly. Yeah. Whereas I think Andrew Lincoln has more potential to branch out. Even if you keep Norman Reedus on there, he's always just been the supporting player to me. you need a commanding lead, and Andrew Lincoln is the commanding lead.
Yeah.
I feel like this is not going to bode well with Walking Dead fans. They killed off Carl. Spoilers if you
Which
care.
upset a lot of people, yeah.
It upset a lot of people because it's so far from the comics, and then it was like, well, at least we got Rick, and now he's leaving. He's the heart of the show. And
he really is.
To lose him, this makes me go, I could care less about this show now. I kind of just want to watch season 9 just to see his exit.
Yeah, that's probably
Be
what
handled
would bring
poorly.
me back.
Yeah.
Well, no. It'll be a drag for all the middle of this season, but the last episode will be great.
Yeah.
Like, the first one will be too. I like Daryl too, and I feel like they are going to have to really beef that character somehow in order to make him the compelling lead of the show. And I honestly don't know what that means. I feel like The Walking Dead's going to end soon, unless this new showrunner, because they're getting another new showrunner, really turns it around and taps whatever they've been searching for 3 seasons.
I've heard Fear the Walking Dead is amazing now. But no one really talks about that show. Unless you like already The Walking Dead, no one really talks about Fear the Walking Dead.
Somebody once described that to me as the show you watch because you watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I hear about that show is, oh, it got good.
Yeah.
Nobody really talks about it other than that fact.
Yeah, Angelique leaving. All right. Good luck on your career, buddy. Walking Dead. Excited to see your show tank some more.
No. He's going out from this show, and then he's going to do a bunch of low-budget zombie movies. It's going to be great.
Yeah. In other comic book news, Roseanne has been canceled.
Oh, boy.
This is quite an interesting journey for me to have witnessed. When I heard Roseanne was coming back on the air, I thought that was cool because before I heard about that, my girlfriend introduced me to the Roseanne show, and I made it up to like season 3. It's a funny show. It's like got heart. I don't see any sitcoms like it today where it's just about watching a lower class family try to make it by. They're kind of trailer trashy in a way, but they're not like annoying or gross, you know.
Yeah.
They're relatable and like they're always struggling to make the bills. It's a real family, and the dynamic between Roseanne and John Goodman is so special in that show. And I had heard for years how the show ended, like the last season, something about like there's some book Roseanne was writing and John Goodman's character was actually dead. So when I heard they were bringing it back, and the fact that they got Laurie Metcalf coming off an Oscar nomination, John Goodman, who's become one of the most respected actors working today, and you're getting a lot of the OG cast back, and they're gonna course correct that terrible ending that upset so many fans. That was so exciting. But of course, Roseanne in her real life is kind of a racist bitch.
A little bit.
You know, it's like, I'm not gonna even ding her on the whole hardcore Trump thing. She just says a lot of stuff that gets way out of hand, and there are even people on the show who are like, yeah, we gotta kind of be aware that something could go wrong with this show.
Yeah. All it takes is a tweet nowadays, and that's all it took.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect the president, but it'll affect everyone else outside of the presidency.
Well, yeah, because nobody knows what to do about that, because there's nobody to be like,
Yeah.
all the upstairs people, where's the Illuminati? We need them.
There's a former person who worked for Obama, and she made a racist
like a
comparison.
chief advisor,
Yeah, he used an ape comparison, which is horribly racist. Roseanne's excuse was that she was on pills that night, she had been drinking, and she also said that she didn't realize this person was black. If you see the photo of Valerie Jarrett, I can understand if you're not like 100% sure if that person's black or not. Still, that doesn't really fly as an excuse, honestly.
Yeah. And at that point, it's like, I don't know, take some responsibility or something. You're Roseanne. You have a nationally broadcast TV show. You can't just be like, I took some pills.
Yeah. Well, she did take responsibility. She said that she actually went to the ABC execs and begged and said she'll do anything to make sure these people can still have the show. She'll do like a bunch of like publicity tours and just make as much apologies as necessary. Like she'll do whatever it takes to make this right, because she owned up to the fact that what she did was wrong. ABC did cancel the show, which is kind of interesting because it was their most popular show.
Yeah,
it became their most popular show, and because of a tweet, they took the moral high ground and said, we can't be supporting this person. Then there's the argument to be made of, well, I mean, you picked up the show already. You kind of knew who Roseanne already was before, so there's that discussion. Is ABC really that cool? You know,
I wonder if they had a guy just in the corner with his finger over the button just in case anything happened, just like, cancel it!
At the end of the day, the show has her name in the title. She is the star of it. People are talking about having doing the John Goodman show, they just call it Dan, well, then you're going to do that whole thing that upset the Roseanne fans are killing off Dan.
Yeah. I feel like once you take out a key element and the key element, I don't think you can really reconfigure in any satisfying way for people. There's always going to be a void there.
I think the most upsetting part of this, as someone who only just started the Roseanne show this year, is what this does for fans. Like, really think about it in the emotional aspect. There's a show you watch, it's amazing, you love it, and then there's an ending to it that's just so upsetting, and you just wish they didn't do that ending. And then the show comes back. They course corrected with bringing Dan back, and the Roseanne fans are happy for a few weeks. Now the show doesn't even have an ending.
Yeah.
Because they just canceled it midway.
I didn't think about that,
yeah, at least before it had an ending. Yeah. Granted, it was a crappy ending.
Bad ending, but an ending no less.
Now it's ended with an even worse taste because of who real life Roseanne is, and all the fans will now know who real life Roseanne is, and it's ruined a great show. That's the problem. You ruined a great show.
And it's a drag because, like, I know that some of her beliefs are challenging to people. And on the other hand, I kind of appreciated that she's got these beliefs and she's being represented as a part of the spectrum in the entertainment bubble.
Yeah, and she worked with people who, like, she said the whole writing staff were liberals, and then a lot of people on the cast didn't share her political beliefs, but people still loved her, like, loved working with her.
Yeah,
so it wasn't like, oh, you're Republican, you suck. It was still like, you could be a Republican and still have the respect of the people you work with.
Yeah, we can make this piece of art together and still bring everybody the show that they love. And I thought that was kind of special in a weird way, but yeah, I'm not surprised it ended up like this, I guess.
Anyway, are you guys happy Roseanne's canceled? Do the real Rejects followers even give a shit about this?
Right, just excited for the Christopher Plummer reboot.
Yeah. Let us know. All right, guys. Well, thank you to the 5 of you for watching. You guys can subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell. And also check us out on Patreon. Full-length TV show reactions, weekly Q&As, music video coverage. Would love to have you become a Patreon today. I am about to hop onto a TV show right now.